On the fact that, you know, obviously you've become a feature in Bellator, and we know what happened. It's well documented in the other organisation. I was there with you that night in Montreal, I think it was it?
Yeah.
Bellator have given you a lifeline. I just want you to talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, you know, Scott, since Scott's been here at Bellator, things have been going well for me. You know, I feel very privileged to be in the position that I am. They keep putting me on these big cards, giving me these big opportunities. And yeah, it's a little surreal to be sitting here with guys like Chael and Tito Ortiz, and I'm the co-main event to this big event. And I think me and Brendan Ward, I think it's the right fight to have before Tito and Chael. And I think those guys are going to have a hard time beating what me and Brendan Ward are about to do on Saturday night.
You must be delighted that he wants to stand toe-to-toe as well.
Yeah. You know what, he says he wants to stand toe-to-toe, and he's a fighter with the same guy. Like I said, you spill Brendan Ward's beer, you're going to get a slap. You spill my beer, you're going to get a slap. You know, we're fighters, we've got that mentality, and I hope he does not you know, listen to the coaches, because I'm sure they're going to be imploring him to wrestle. I hope he does, you know, just fight wherever we're at, just fight, whether it be standing on the ground or whatever. We're just going to fight, that's what we do.
Brilliant, thank you all very much.
Thank you, Gary.
For Tito, you briefly flirted with retirement in 2012. Now you've come back and you're retiring again. What has been different this time around, and what did you really learn from the first time that you tried to step away from the cage that will sort of help you relish and focus on this experience?
Well, you know, at the time I was going through some personal, really hard personal stuff. My children were number one. My kids, I had to get full custody of them. I had to fight for my kids. I fought for them. I got full custody of them. I had to get away from the company that was disrespectful towards me, that was painting me in a bad limelight that wasn't true. So I had to walk away. And as I walked away, I got a hold of Bellator, and they wanted to sign me, and I wanted to fight. At the time, I was only 38 years old. I felt young, I felt good. I went to some competitions, and it seemed like something I wanted to do. I wanted to make sure that when I walked away that I wasn't happy about it. I want to make sure when I walked away that I was like going, yes, I gave it my all. I gave it everything I possibly could do. And now that Scott Coker's a part of this company, it's been every way I've always thought it should have been when I left the UFC. I'm very, very thankful for all the staff at Spike, all the staff at Bellator, to give me this opportunity to compete. And I wanted to be done by 40 years old. It took a couple years, I guess, still got that line in me. I want to fight. And this is just perfect ending to a perfect story.
And then for Chael, Chael, you've been in the cage with really dynamic guys like Anderson Silva and John Jones, guys that are difficult to game plan for. Tito presents a little bit more solid challenge where you know he's going to come out and he's going to wrestle you and box you. Is there a fear of maybe overlooking him a bit because you know what he's really going to try and do?
You know, I came from a wrestling background. I took on 4 or 5 guys, 6 guys in one day. And you never knew who your opponent was, is my point. It's a bracketed format. Even when you know who shows up, you don't know who's going to win, who's going to advance, what side of the brackets it's on. Point is, I've never game planned. I've never watched the other guy and thought, well, he does this and I need to do that. I focus on myself completely. They throw in new guys all the time and it doesn't make any difference to me. I show up ready to fight and that's it. And my skills are my skills. And sometimes it's been enough and sometimes it hasn't. But either way, you make that walk and you find out.
And then just for Scott, you know, you've been with Bellator now for a couple of years, and you've been in this game for a long time. Where does this event, you know, at the LA Forum, Tito Ortiz's farewell, Chael Sonnen's comeback, where does that really rank for you in terms of opportunities to promote fights?
Well, I tell you, it's this is a big event, and I think this is probably the biggest event, or I can say it's the biggest event in the Bellator history of its fight company. And I think I've been associated with some pretty big shows, but I think this one is going to be, it's going to take the cake, and I think we're going to have a great attendance. I think we're going to have some great fights, and I think we're going to have fights from top to bottom. I mean, if you guys have a chance to show up early and see the undercards, we have some great fights on there, so you get to see some of the young talent up and coming, and then you get to see, you know, the main TV card. So as far as the event, I mean, you guys can feel the hype. I feel the hype, and I can feel that this is starting to really roll. Feeling really good about it.
And just quickly for Brendan over here, compared to, you're really a homegrown Bellator guy. You've spent most of your career with the promotion. What are your thoughts on watching the promotion grow from when you've fought in small casinos to now you're about to co-main event at the LA Forum? And then, there's a lot of new guys in the 170-pound division. If you can beat Paul, where do you really think that puts you in that division?
I'll start with your first question. Being with the company since 2012, this is my, I think, 14th fight with Bellator, and it's kind of wild to see, how big he's getting. It's almost like a household name now. Just like the other organization that everyone talks about. And back when I started, man, there's I'll never forget my first fight with Bellator in Rhode Island. Where we're from, and there was probably. It was at a college. It was on a college campus, URI, University of Rhode Island, the Ryan Center, and man, there was probably 1,000 people there, max, probably 1,000 people. And now fight at Mohegan Sun, where I'm from, and another local spot sold out, 10,000 people come out to LA. It's gonna be packed. It's wild to see the growth, especially in the last 2 years since Mr. Coker's taken over. Man, He's done his thing. His credentials show for him what he's done in the past with different organizations. He's a businessman. He knows what he's doing. He's doing a pretty good job steering the ship. You know what I mean? It's taking us all along for the ride. So I'm grateful to have this opportunity. And your second question about other 170-pounders in the division, guys like me and guys like my opponent on Saturday night, we don't care who we fight. We'll fight any dude. That's like what Chael said. I come from a wrestling background as well. I don't do all that game planning. I'd have 5-6 matches in a day at a national tournament. I go to double overtime. I wrestle a total minutes more than I probably fought in my last 5 fights in one tournament. So you can put us up against any guy, and it don't matter who we fight. We're gonna fight anybody. We're wrestlers. That's what we do. We fight anybody at any time, any place, any weight. That's how we get down.
Chael, you made the comment recently that you felt as if your career had begun at the same time as Tito's did, that you would have beaten him early on and that he wouldn't have gone on to have the kind of career that he had at the other organization and at here because you would have handled him early on. Where does that level of confidence come from that you're so much better than him?
Man, I think Tito's awesome. I don't dispute that he belongs in the Hall of Fame, that he's a legend, and I don't dispute any of his world championships. My contention from day one is I was the baddest dude in the world and I couldn't get my opportunity. When I got it, I ran with it, and I'm still here. But I was in the practice room with world champions, Pride world champions, UFC world champions. I knew everybody in the world that could whip my ass, and that guy's name was Randy Couture, and there was no one else out there. And the guys that were around and the guys that had the belts, they will tell you I was whipping them on a daily basis, and they did everything they could to keep me out of the organizations. That's a reality. I thought I could beat Tito, but I never locked up with him. I don't know for sure, but I told everybody that I could, and it took me 20 years to get here, and we're all going to find out together whether that statement's true or not.
Tito, given that this is your last fight and it's coming to an end on Saturday, was there anything that you would have liked to have accomplished that you didn't accomplish in your career?
No, I did everything I wanted to do the way I wanted to do it, with integrity, with respect, with class. And I look back on it and I did it with integrity, man. And I inspired millions of people. You gotta understand, I want to be a high school wrestling coach. I want to be a teacher. I want to help youths. I want to help the kids who were coming up, who were on the streets, who had nothing to show for it. Or their teachers or their parents or their friends would call them pieces of shit. And I was that kid on the street who came from nothing and was able to achieve everything in my life. I'm able to give my children everything they have through hard work and dedication. And they wrestle too. My true name is Jacob. In the Bible, Jacob wrestled against an angel. The angel beat Jacob and saved his life. Wrestling saved my life. I have no regrets of anything I've ever done. I look back on it and I worked hard to get where I am today as a human being on this earth. I'm very, very thankful to all my fans. Thankful to Scott Coker. I'm thankful to Lorenzo and Frank Fertitta and Dana White, and I probably shouldn't be, but I am, because they gave me an opportunity back in the day. I'm thankful that Chael called me out, because now I get an opportunity for redemption.
And Chael, given that you're 39, and usually in combat sports, when fighters reach that age or in the mid-30s, they're thinking about the end and stopping the fighting. You signed a 6-fight deal. What's the motivation to keep on fighting given your age?
I like kicking ass, and don't forget, it's not 39 years old, it's 39 years young. It is not how many miles the car has, it's how many miles the car has left.